welcome back to another episode of the Artist Access. Man, I am in here with two of my most favorite people in the world. I have the honor of being here with the Honorable Auset, Neteru, and Dr. Ausar Neteru.
Glad to
How
be here,
y'all
brother.
doing?
Good.
Absolutely great, brother.
Man, I'm honored for y'all to come here with me today. You talk a little bit.
Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look, this is a book written by Mr. Dr. Ausar Neteru. This is like one of my favorite books right now. You understand?
Oh, wow.
I
So
read this
blessed to hear
thing
that.
every day while I'm at work, when I'm at home, and I could just open it up, and it's just full of so much wisdom. You feel me? I'm talking about from
absolutely.
front to end. It's just full of wisdom. You feel me?
Yes, yes.
And this is your last book, right?
Yeah, and most important.
The most important book.
Most important.
Why would you call this one the most important one?
Well, because you'll notice on the book there's not my name's not on the book.
Right.
And it's really about a vibration from our divine source emanating through me. And so there's no ego in it whatsoever.
Right.
And when I was listening to you do your poetry just a moment ago, I was smiling ear to ear.
Science all in there. That comes from the science.
It's
You feel me?
absolutely the science. So
Yeah.
I was just honored by that, weren't you?
Yes, it was great.
Yeah,
It was,
thank you.
Yes, I loved it.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, look, so if y'all don't know, Sundiata was the person who invited me to come to the center, right?
Really?
So I met Sundiata on the poetry scene.
Okay.
And we would always be talking like before shows or after shows. And I was always talking to science, right? And so one day Sundiata said, "Man, you sound like the people I go to the center with, called Biovisional Science."
Yeah.
He said, "What?" He said, "Man, you should come check it out one day."
Yeah.
So I had never been, but what happened was I was on his show. He had a show, and my yacht was on the show, and she was promoting the play I was doing.
Okay.
And so I met my yacht that day, and she invited me to come. And she like, we also do kung fu too.
Oh, wow.
So that was the one that really caught me. I said, "What?"
Yeah.
So I went to the play that Saturday. And
Okay.
then that Sunday was my first time coming to the center, and I've been locked in ever since.
Well, thank you for sharing that history, brother.
Yeah.
And we've been so blessed, with you being a part of it.
Yeah.
And I think I was thinking about on the way over here, your divine name, Anpu.
Yeah.
And who knew so many years later?
Wow.
Because Anpu is one of the sons of Ausar, and the connection that we've had over the years. I'm just so blessed.
I didn't know that. I didn't really know that. I don't know why I didn't know that, but I didn't know that. It was crazy. It was crazy, bro. When I be watching you speak and give your message, I be looking at you, and boy, I be seeing myself in you. It's like I'm watching myself.
Yes.
You feel? I'm talking about like literally. It's like wow. It's like I see a lot of myself in you. You feel me? Like for real.
I totally understand that because I felt that vibration when you were speaking just a moment ago and doing your poetry,
Right.
and the mastery that you had with integrating everything you were saying about energy and force and magnetism and all of that.
Right.
Because people don't just naturally understand that without being able to be in synergetic compatibility.
Right.
Yeah, I'm really glad.
And see, and the first time I went to the center, and when I heard the greeting. When I heard y'all do the greeting, I recognized the divine in you, as well as myself. As soon as I heard that, I said, I knew I was in the right place. You feel me?
Absolutely.
Because at that time, I had just gotten into the I am science. I had got to the understanding of I am being everything. You see what I'm saying? And so when I heard that, I just know I was in the right place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the people that you were in that wonderful play just I guess a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And we were talking out in the lobby about how important it is for people to understand everything is energy.
Right.
And if people that say they want money or say they want relationship or whatever it is they're looking for in life, there's a vibration that goes with that byproduct. Money is the byproduct or the end product of something. But wealth is the vibration. And it's just like you were saying in your poetry that if we can understand how to manage the vibration or be in that vibration, then we will attract the byproduct. And it's so important for all people, but especially our people. to understand that, so that we can understand that physical labor is not, it's a necessity, it's part of the process,
Right.
but it's not what we do in the laboratory that start attracting things.
Man, so I want you to take me back, like, cause you are full of a lot of wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know, like, the beginning of this journey, like as a kid, as being a young Ausar, like, did you always feel a connection with Source? I'm pretty sure you have. I know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I was 5 years old
Mm-hmm.
the first time that my grandmother introduced me to spirituality, and she did so through the means that she had, which was Christianity. But once I understood, what the divine was, I made up my mind at 5 years old that I was going to spend the rest of my life learning and understanding it and doing whatever I could to serve it, because it was what sustained us all.
Awesome.
So so it's been quite a journey from 5, and then I started speaking at 19,
Okay.
and at one point I was the pastor of the shrine,
Okay.
and then the IM led me to start the Center for Biovibrational Science, but the biggest thing that happened in my life was my 1995 experience, and that's where I came into contact with the committed goddess, what people call the committed goddess Auset, which is my wife's namesake.
Yeah.
And I came into contact with that, and that's where the wisdom was literally infused into my consciousness. And so I'm not creating as I'm teaching. I'm simply emanating what's already there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, I had experience, bro, in 2004, right? I was still in New Orleans. I was in a rap group, and every weekend we would go in the French Quarters and sell our mixtape, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had an awesome night, sold everything out. I get home, and as I'm about to lay down and go to sleep, something came on my mind that I had been wanting to do it, but I just kept forgetting to do it. And what it was, I just wanted to tell the Creator, for all of the time that I wasn't fully paying attention and was kind of like doing my own thing and not letting Source guide me fully, I was telling Source to forgive me.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm doing this with my voice in my mind, like laying in my bed, and I'm saying from this point on, I'm telling the Creator, I'm following you. Whatever you direct me to do, I'm following. And as soon as I stopped saying what I was saying with my mind, as soon as I stopped, my mind, my voice in my head began to communicate and talk to me.
Wow.
Wow.
And it talked to me all, before I know it, the sun is up. And it's still talking to me.
Wow.
Wow.
And it began to tell me everything about myself that I wanted to know.
Yes.
All of the questions I had about myself, it was telling me, this is why this happened, that's why that happened, that's why that. It brought me from childhood all the way to where I was at that point. Then it brought me beyond. And then it began to give me universal knowledge. Look, when I got up the next day, I didn't even go to sleep. When I got up, I'm writing 3 pages of material. I recorded a whole album in 5 days. I would write a whole song and we'll go record it. And it's this new information that was given to me that night. It's like in one night I was given the I am science in one night.
Yes.
And that's the most awesome experience I've ever had in my life. Like nothing. I had some amazing experiences, but nothing on Trump that experience. Like to this day, that just brought me all the way to where I'm at, what I am. You know what I'm
You
talking
want
about?
to tell him why that's so special in terms of my story too?
Yeah, I mean that's the
That's
same.
why I brought it up, because I feel like it's
That's the
similar
same
to your
thing.
experience.
Yeah.
That's the exact same.
Same experience.
And I heard you mention this before, and I've been waiting to tell you my experience for the longest. You know what I'm talking about?
Unbelievable. I mean, I'm floored, man.
Right.
Because this is the kind of stuff that there's no way that we could know that.
Hey, it took me a while to tell anybody about the experience. I'm like, who gonna believe me? Who gonna believe this? Who gonna believe me?
Right.
You don't
So
want
it
to tell
took me
anybody.
years before I would tell anybody about this experience.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, the word download is commonly used now, but it felt like I literally felt energy coming in.
That's what it
What
is.
is.
It was
It's
a total download.
That's what it is. And there's so many, but that's our heritage as an African people. This is the way that we historically receive wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But we've gotten so used to giving that responsibility to the pastor, to the preacher, or whoever the bishop or whoever.
Putting this middleman in between you and the creator.
Really, and what the science is about, and the jail, I said was talking about this on the way over here, that it's really not about trying to get people to believe all the same thing. We got all types of people. Like you have your you know, your particular religious persuasion you believe in, but the science is beyond that. It makes whatever you're doing better. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's why I tell my cousin like back at home, I'm like, this information right here is like, this is the next stage of the lessons that we need as a people. Because I look at all of the stages, all of the classes, schools as classes. They're brought up from one level to one level. Because I started out, my dad was in the Nation Islam as a kid, so that was like one of my first schools. Well, my grandma was in church and my dad was in the Nation, so I got the church stuff and I got the Muslim stuff.
Okay.
But it was like, it went from that to just studying all of the schools. You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly. And
so I look at it all as like just levels. And I ended up at I Am, the science of I Am. That's why I ended up at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that now I understand how everything is I Am. You
right.
feel me? Everything.
Right. You move beyond the labels.
Right.
The labels of race, nationality, gender, all of that, to a space of understanding yourself as a force.
Right.
Or a collection of forces working within you to create the system that is you. Right. And when you start to have relationships with other people and you see them as energetic systems, they may not see themselves as that, but you can guide them to that by helping them to understand what's your vibration right now. What's really causing you to respond to me, positive, negative, or otherwise, at this particular state. Why do you like that? Why do you love this? Why do you want to accomplish this goal? And as people start to understand the true nature of themselves, then they start to get ahead of materiality, ahead of the physical presentation of whatever it is. And once you start to manage those forces, then you start to design your own life. And I see you doing that, you know, like designing what you want your life to look like.
Right. It's awesome. It's awesome. Now, Mr. Jaya, you gave an awesome genre this past Sunday.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
As well as you always do.
Thank you.
So when I first saw the title, The Promised Land, right?
Yes.
I said, ooh, that's gonna be good. But as I saw it, I said to myself, I said everywhere my feet laying on the ground is the Promised Land.
Right.
That's what I told myself. You know what I'm talking about? And your message was kind of you kind of basically said that you talked about the space that you occupy as being wherever you at is heaven, basically. You know what I'm talking about?
Wherever you at, exactly.
Right. That was awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So like when you write putting your message together, are you kind of like channeling? Are you channeling information too as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So basically, when you stay in the vibration, when you stay in the I Am vibration stays in you. So my everyday conversation deals with the science of I Am.
Wow.
And when that happens, then you start getting channeled, and I Am speaks to you and allows you to see things clearly that may be presented to the world kind of muggy. And so that's when you get your jhana, you receive your jhana, and then you emanate it. It's a conversation with I Am. Absolutely. And everybody else, the audience, is privy to that conversation that you're having with I Am. It's definitely a download, like you all was talking about. We've all had those download experiences, and I know that if you stay in the vibration, the download won't go away.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, the download just keeps happening, and that's
really
your
good.
steps being ordered.
That's what I learned once I moved out here to Texas. I learned how to stay in this space.
Yeah.
Like when I was back at home, I stumbled across this mind science stuff. I fell into it. I'm serious. Like I started writing rhymes in 94, 95, and I'm going through a rough time in life, right? And I'm writing about this rough time I'm going through, and I'm writing about what I do because of what I'm going through right now, and a lot about what I do right now because of what I'm going through. So every morning I would go over all my rhymes. I had a whole notebook full of rhymes, and I noticed that everything I was saying I was going to do, I did it. So at that moment, it's like a literal light flashed in my mind. I said, wow, like everything I said came to pass. So what I said, man, it was like a ha-ha moment. So I said, I'm going to write about what I want to happen. Yeah. And so I began to write about what I want to happen. And those things started happening. So, and then I just began to start to study. And I thought I had found something new.